Hi everybody, this is Judy Tuttle from Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm so happy to be with you tonight. Thanks for joining me. Let me get my computer going here on this other side. I'm excited to share with you some fun Halloween projects tonight. I have a couple of cards and a little 3D project for you that I think you're going to enjoy. And I want to make sure my volume on my computer is down. There we go. Hi, Jenny. You're always the first person to say hi to me. I love that. Thanks for joining me. I can tell already that my computer is going to be a little bit lagging, but I'm just going to ignore it because it's already doing that thing where it keeps wanting me to refresh and it freezes on the computer, and then I don't think you're seeing me, but I've learned that you probably are. All right, so thanks for joining me tonight. I have 2 cards and a 3D Halloween project for you tonight, and I'm excited to create those with you. I think you're going to enjoy them, and I have some other exciting news to share with you. So, as you all know, I have been working really hard this year to earn Stampin' Up's next incentive trip to Norway. Hi, Roz. Thanks for coming. And I earned it last weekend. I'm so excited. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would be going to Norway. I would have never dreamed it. So I just want to thank everyone out there who has been watching my videos and purchasing product from me and attending classes and buying PDFs and all of those things that have helped me make this trip possible for me and my husband. And I'm very humbled, and I so appreciate all of you. I want you to hear me say that. And hi, Dana, thanks for coming tonight. So thank you all, every one of you who brought me to earning this trip, and I so appreciate your loyalty and coming to watch me on Monday nights, even through all of the craziness that happens sometimes in Facebook Lives. Thank you, Roz. You've stuck by me through some really crazy Facebook Live times, and maybe sometimes classes that are a little wonky or things that don't go the way that we're all human. And I'm thankful for you and your grace, and just continuing to stand beside me through this Stampin' Up journey. I couldn't do it without you. So I love you guys. All right. So I did want to show you that, yay, I got it all highlighted there. So Jody, what you don't know, because you were camping last week, is that you were the winner of the Piggy cards from last week's drawing. So you're home now, so we need to connect so that I can get those. Maybe at club next week, I'll see you for that, okay? And then this week's winner was Debbie Gruser. Hi, Debbie. I think last week you said you were a first-time watcher, so if you're watching again this week, hi, Kathy. If you're watching again this week, I would love to get the 5 cards that I made last week's Facebook Live in your hands. So, hi, Laura. Thanks for watching. Send me your address, Debbie, and I would love to send these cards to you. Okay? All right. So, yay, I got my ship sheet. You have to be careful how you say that. My incentive trip sheet all highlighted, and that's super fun. Okay, so I'm having a giveaway this month. If you earn 20 points with me, you get this adorable, cute little white and yellow polka dotted trash can that Stampin' Up! Just came out with. These are collapsible. They're really nice for traveling if you're taking them to a workshop or whatever. You can get one for free by earning points. You get 5 points for bringing a friend. You bring 5 points for any $50 order. You get 10 points if you attend any Tuttle Up stamping class. I only have one more left this month, and it's my gnomes class that's on September the 29th. And you get 15 points for attending the retreat. So if you did not sign up for the retreat, you missed those 15 points. I have 11 people coming Saturday. I'm so excited about my fall retreat. So all of those people, I think, not all of them, but a lot of them have earned that polka dot trash can already. Yay! Okay, so I only have one class left for September. I'm working on my October calendar right now because I had it all filled up. And I do some business training with my friend Rhonda Wade. And you know what she said to me? Judy, you are wearing yourself out. You're trying to do too much. So she encouraged me to like condense some things and stack some things. And so I need to revamp my calendar. So before I announce it, I just want to make sure it looks, and she's right. She's right. I spread myself too thin. It's been a lifetime issue. And I don't have to have that many classes every month. So anyway, we're working on that. But my last class is September, and you can get this to come or to go, is my Storybook Gnomes project class. You will make 4 fun-filled projects. You will get a quarter of a pack of the Gnomes paper, a half a package of matching embellishments, and a full color PDF of all the instructions. You can come in person on September the 29th, or you can get this class to go. If you would like a link, let me know and I will share it with you. If you are part of my email list, which all of you out there should be a part of my email list because that's where I post all the links to all my classes and events that are coming up. Plus, I let you know about sales and special, yes, I know, Laura, you're really excited about this one. She's been begging me to have a Storybook Gnomes class, so I'm glad we can do that next week. So anyway, the best way to know about my events is to be a part of my email list, okay? So you can PM me and say, add my email to your list, and I will do that for you so you can start getting all of that information. All right, so tonight's class is using, maybe I should go ahead and move the camera down. So let's pray here. This is where we pray that everything does, I think it's gonna work. Yay, I don't have to stamp upside down tonight. How about that? There we go. All right, sorry if that made you a little bit dizzy. Tonight, if you place an order using hostess code SBXS6UMW, you guys can take a screenshot of this if you would like to remember where to go to shop with me, what my email is, judyltuttle@gmail.com. And if you use this host code, then you can get this kit to go. Any $30 order, okay? So now I have to tell you something. This gingham paper that I'm using tonight, and I'm going to be using on lots of holiday cards and lots of cards on my retreat this weekend, is called Gingham Cottage. Fun, big, bold checks, kind of watercolor checks, smaller checks. It is a great pack of paper. And let me tell you the colors that are in it. We've got basic gray, black, blushing bright, calypso coral, garden green, mint macaron, pumpkin pie, real red, smoky slate, so saffron, and white. This pack of paper is exactly $30. So if you purchase just this pack of paper, then you would get tonight's class kit for free, okay? So lots of fun checks and designs in there, and we're going to be using that a lot over the next few weeks, okay? I'm going to move that. I'm trying to figure out where to move this so you guys can still see it as I craft. Let's go with right there. Does that work? Okay, I think that's gonna work. All right, so I'm gonna get us started. What we're gonna be using tonight is that gingham cottage paper. We're gonna be using 2 different Halloween sets. We're gonna be using the best witches, and I'm only using the best witches for a couple of the sentiments, okay? What we're mostly going to be using is the Bewitching Bundle, which is this cute little stamp set that has the witches' hats and the little feet coming out like the Wizard of Oz, right? And this fun hat builder, witch hat builder punch, which unfortunately right now is on back order, but it will come back. Don't worry about that. It's gonna come back. I'm willing it to come back, so it will come back. All right, so we're gonna make a couple of cards and then a little 3D item. So we're gonna start with the first card here. Okay, and we're gonna use some of this gingham, black and white gingham check ribbon as well. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way just for a second, and I'm going to tell you the measurements of everything we're using. First of all, we're going to use a piece of pumpkin pie paper that's cut 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored down the middle at 5 1/2. Pumpkin pie. I also have a piece of this gingham cottage paper that is cut, and it's the pumpkin pie, the smaller check, and it is 3 inches by 5 1/2 inches, so it's going to go right down the middle of that right there. I have 2 pieces of basic white cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. One of them's going to be the inside panel, and one of them's going to be for punching some witches' hats. And then I've got a small white panel that is 2 inches by 4 inches that's going to go on the front of my card. All right? Okay, so let's get started. We're going to take this pumpkin pie cardstock, and we are going to add this DSP to the front of it here. So I'm going to use some Seal Plus. I wouldn't have to use Seal Plus. I could use just regular Seal. But I'm going to make sure I line this up really straight and try to center it on the front of my card. But there's going to be enough movement on this that if it's not perfectly centered, it'll be okay. The person who's getting it will not notice that. And then I've got a tiny little bit of overhang here. I sometimes kind of purposely do that because I would rather have it too long and cut a little bit off. That was just a tiny little sliver. Than have it be too short, right? Okay, I'm going to use my bone folder here. All right, there is that. Next, I'm going to take this 2 inch by 4 inch piece of white, and I'm going to stamp in the bottom right corner the words. I love that gingham cottage DSP too, Kathy. It's quickly become my favorite. So it's going to say Best Witches, and that is a sentiment that comes from the Best Witches stamp set. So we made several cards from this set at my Halloween class on Thursday night. It was super fun. So that's going to say Best Witches right there. And then I'm going to take my piece of gingham ribbon here, and I'm going to wrap it around this panel and tie it in a bow right here on the right side of this white panel. Maybe I kind of centered it. I have to remind myself what I did. I think I did kind of center it now that I think about it. So let's just go ahead, try to move it right to the middle right there. There we go. Beautiful little gingham ribbon around there. I might even move it just a tiny bit this way. I'm gonna make my bows a little bit smaller. There we go. This card is a design that was given to me by someone in St. George this summer, and I lost the card of whose card it was. So if it's yours and you're watching and you're like, Judy's stealing my card, I'm so sorry. I would love to give you credit if I could, but I lost your card. So any of you out there want to claim this card as yours, I would probably believe you, because I don't remember who it was, but you would have had to been in St. George with me, because that's where I got it. Okay, so I'm putting dimensionals on the back side of that and removing those. This card is, I love this card because it is super fast and easy. I had a Halloween class on Thursday night last week, and we made 6 projects. We made, I'm going to move that over just a tiny bit more so that tail doesn't cover up my best switches, okay? And it's going to go right here, maybe a little bit further down, right there, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and do my inside here, okay? So I have a piece of basic white, and I think I should have, let me see if I can find it here. Well, thought I had one more piece, a little sliver. I know I cut it. Who knows where I put it? Oh, here it is. I accidentally tossed it. I'm going to put this right here at the bottom of my card, okay? And that just, I always like to put a little color on the inside of my card, or something stamped or something like that. In this case, we are going to do both color and a little something stamped. Okay, so I'm putting that across the bottom edge of my card. And, oh, thank you, Jody. I try. And then there's this cute little spider that comes in the Bewitching Bundle right there. And this little spider is going to be coming down from the top edge of my card here, like that. Woo! He's descending upon us. Now, if that was real life, I would be screaming right now. But luckily it's not. Okay, so this is going to go on the inside of my card base right here. So if you are new to me, give me a shout out, tell me where you're from. And you know, those of you who watch, I always give my cards away to someone who comments or gives me some love and likes. That's how Jody got picked from 2 weeks ago. And that is how, oh, I've lost the name already. Debbie Gruser got picked for this week's. Okay, so now I have this scrap of basic white, and I'm going to stamp me some witches' hats, okay? I'm going to stamp one of my witches' hats in Gorgeous Grape. Going to ink it up well, and I'm going to stamp it right here at the bottom of my card. And it's okay that it got a little halo there because we're going to punch that out. Okay, I'm going to clean that off, and we're going to stamp it one more time in Parakeet Party is the green that I'm going to use. Ink that up really well. Stamp it right there. There we go. And I'm going to punch both of those out before I stamp my last hat. And the reason why is there's all these extra pieces to this punch, and I don't want to stamp my third hat without knowing where I have room to stamp it without it getting interfered. So when I punch, I like to turn my punch upside down, make sure everything is lined up correctly, right? You want a little bit of a white halo around it. There we go. There's one of my little witch's hats. I'm gonna do that again to my parakeet party here. There we go. And now I can see where I can punch my third hat without it interfering with like the other pieces that are punched. So my last hat is gonna be my polka dotted hat. And I am going to stamp that in Mango Medley. Mango Medley. Mango Medley. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up really good here. Oh, well, darn it, I'm going to flip that over. I didn't get that inked up. You know, stamp pads are not meant to last forever, and I've had this one for quite a while. I keep re-inking it, but eventually, you know, you just need to get a new ink pad. They're $8, and it's worth it to have one that inks up well. Okay, so I actually kind of like the ombre look of that. I wouldn't always, but I do on this witch's hat, so I'm going to stamp that out. Woo! Those went flying, those pieces. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to take each of those hats and we are going to pop them up on the front of our card. So this one is going to be popped up. I'm going to put it about right there. I'm going to reload this so I can see your comments coming in here. You know, Facebook is being kind of weird about that, so I'm going to do a couple of witches' hats. There we go. That one's going to go there. This one's going to kind of overlap it and go right here. Cute, huh? And then my green one is going to go up here at the top. And I'm going to turn it a bit sideways and kind of overlap that gingham ribbon just a little bit there on the front of my card. What do you think? Well, I'm not quite done. I'm going to add some. Let me shut my ink pads there. The last thing I'm going to do is add some matte dots with my Take Your Pick tool here. So I'm going to put one right up here. And I'm going to scatter a couple of others down here at the bottom. There we go. What do you think? Do you like that one? Super cute, huh? And then that little spider coming off the top. So that is the first card of our Halloween fun card class tonight. And I'm going to move that aside and get ready for our second card. Now this one is going to use that witch's hat that kind of has the spider web going on it there. So this time I am using, let me get myself reorganized here. I don't think I'm going to be using those anymore, so I can set that over there, that over there. I will be using this spider again. Okay, so I have a piece of black cardstock, basic black, that is 5.5 by 7.5 and scored along the long side right here at 3 1/4. So what you could really do is just do a regular card front that's 5.5 by 8.5, right? Score it at 4 1/4 and then take an inch off this side. Either way is fine, okay? So I'll leave that there just a second. And then I have 2 pieces of this gingham Cottage DSP. One of them is cut 3 inches by 5 1/4, and one is cut 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, 3 inches. So this is 4 1/4 basically. These don't match up because I didn't cut them off the same piece. But 4 1/4 and then cut an inch off. Okay, 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 and then cut an inch off. That inch is going to go on the inside. Okay, now I have a scrap of basic white for the hat. I have a piece of basic white that's cut 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and another piece for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a piece of pumpkin pie that's 3.5 by 4.5. Okay, so let's get started. And I have some blends. We're going to be using some blends for this one that are pumpkin pie, basic gray, and black. Those are the blends that we'll be using with this card. Okay, all right, so I'm going to start by putting this panel, and I liked the bigger black and pumpkin pie check for this one. This is 3 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put it on the front flap right here of this black DSP, just like that. Okay, now this piece of gingham Cottage, I am going to put on the edge of this piece right there. Okay, and that's going to go on the inside of my card. So let me put this piece on here on the very edge. Oh, darn it. Here, let's try that again. I didn't get that very straight. Okay, so now this piece is going to go on the inside right here. And that little bit of gingham Cottage will show off to the right side of my card front. Center that all the way around. There we go. And you see, it'll show right there on the side of my card front. That's kind of cool, huh? And I got lucky. Those stripes match. They match pretty well, considering I just winged that there. Okay, now my piece of pumpkin pie eventually is going to go right here on the front of my card, but I'm not going to quite do that yet. I'm going to take this piece of basic white and I'm going to stamp my little witch's legs right here towards the bottom of my card base. Now, I don't really need this foam mat, but in this case, I'm going to use it because I want that black, those black legs to be as solid as they can be, okay? So I'm going to get my Memento black, and I'm going to make sure I'm really inking this up well. Do it a little bit more. And I'm going to stamp my little witch's legs right there at the bottom. There we go. Super cute. Now I'm going to take my scrap white here and I'm going to stamp the witch's hat that has the spider web on it. And I'm going to stamp it right there. And that little halo isn't going to make a difference because remember, we're going to pop it out. Okay, so on my little witch's legs right here, I'm going to take my pumpkin pie and I'm going to add, I'm not going to use the brush tip, I want to use the pointy tip because it's going to get in those little spaces just a little bit better right there. And then I'm going to do my light up here on my stripes. Can't wait to show you my 3D project. You're going to love it. But this one's pretty cute too. Okay, so I did my light all the way around, right? And then I'm going to take my dark and I'm just going to add some shadows right here on her little sock stripes. And then on her buckle, we're going to just add some there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my witch's hat here, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to add some light. I'm going to use the brush tip on this one because we have a little more space to work with here. Light pumpkin pie on the band right here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some of the darker right along that little edge right there. And then, you know, I like to go back over it one more time with the light. Kind of blend it all in together. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my gray, basic gray. Gray granite is what I have. And I'm going to use the brush tip. And, you know, I don't take a lot of time to blend because it's all going to blend together, right? I'm a pretty fast blender. So I just outline my spaces with the light and then fill it in with circles. This is the Judy technique. I don't think it's going to be patented anytime soon, but I just want to show you what I do. I'm going to outline, right, and then fill it in. All right. And then I'm going to add some dark. And this is dark basic gray here. Add it right along that space right there. Maybe a little bit along this side over here. I'm going to go back over that with my light again. And then I'm going to bring a little bit of basic black into it just to add some black. And I'm going to use my light here. A little bit over here. And then I'm going to blend all that again with my light. Kind of force it to blend and lighten up a little bit. I really want it to look like shadows and don't want it to have such a rough edge to it. There we go. All right. You like it? Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to pop it up. Let me see. You know what? Not a bad idea to use the Stamparatus, to be perfectly honest. And I thought about that, but then I thought about it right before I went live, so I wasn't sure. Okay, so I can't get this in all the way, so I'm going to I didn't think I would have time to get it out and get it set up. So I just went without it tonight. Okay, so here's my witch's hat. I kind of like that it looks kind of aged and worn out there, don't you? And then we're gonna pop this up right here on my, over my little legs on my card front here. Why, thank you. Jeannie, you're so sweet. Okay, so there we go. There's my witch's hat right there. Okay, I'm gonna take a piece of a black baker's twine, and this comes in this combo pack. You get 4 colors. You get a vanilla, a white, kind of almost a Sahara sand color, and a black. And I'm gonna tie this in a bow. Probably should have had this already off, but that's okay. I'm gonna take my, I might even double it this time. I thought it needed maybe a little bit more oomph. I'm gonna, okay, so people ask me, how do you tie a single bow? I'm gonna show you. And this time I'm doing it with 2 threads. So we're gonna make a loop, and there's a small tail in front, a long tail in back. You're gonna go around, always go around to the left and push the loop into the hole that's left by your finger there and pull. And then you gotta just be careful that you don't pull those tails all the way through. So everybody needs to congratulate my friend Jeannie, because she earned the incentive trip last week as well. So we will get to go together. That will be fun. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my loops here a little bit small for this. I don't want this bow to overtake my little witch's hat here. Okay, and I'm gonna cut the ends off pretty short, and then I'm gonna grab a glue dot and just press that right on to my witch's hat, kind of right there in the corner. She's got a little sassy bow on her there. Okay, now one more thing to do. That's a shadow. I thought I got some, I don't know if you guys can see that shadow, but I thought I got blends on my paper. I was like, oh no. All right, so. Yay! Thanks for cheering on my friend Jeannie. She has worked, this is her first ever incentive trip. And, look what I did. Darn it. I got a little, anyway, we're going to let it go. I got a little halo on there. I was too excited about cheering for Jeannie, and I forgot what I was doing. But, ooh, maybe it looks like another little spider leg coming down. I don't know. You can make excuses for anything. Okay, so we're going to, I will probably take my cool little ink eraser that I have, and I will take care of that little spot when I finish with you guys here. There we go. And then this lady is gonna go right here on the front of my card, and I'm gonna actually center it so it overlaps a little bit right there. So I don't want this to be adhered on this side because that's the side that overlaps. So I'm just gonna put dimensionals on this side of my card, and I'm going to avoid about an inch from this edge. Okay. And that will be my card number 2. What do you think? Now, you could put a Happy Halloween inside. Let's see what we have. Let's see what we have over here. Ooh, I like this one. How about this one? It's fitting for this card. It says, "You've put a spell on me." Doesn't it look like that witch is under a spell? So I'm going to stamp this right inside. You've put a spell on me. You put a spell on me. I don't think that's that song, but anyway, sounds cute, doesn't it? All right, let me get all of these things out of the way, and now I want to show you this cute box I designed for a little treat that I found at Walgreens. So I hope you guys will love this. I am going to make, let me get everything out of the way. Let me get my blends put away. Thank you. I like the huge gingham too. And I like all the ginghams, but I really do like the huge one with that hat. I just think it really balances it out nicely, right? Okay, so here we go. Are you ready for my little treat box? Okay. So, I found these Reese's snack cakes at Walgreens. They are chocolate and Reese's, and they have a little brownie. Yes, brownie at the bottom. Okay. Now, I measured this, and it measured 2 3/4 and by about 3/4. So I'm designing my bag to be 3 inches wide by 1 inch thick, okay, if that makes sense. So I have a piece of this gingham cards DSP, and I've cut it 6 inches by 8.5 inches. Now I'm just gonna set this here for just a second. Cut your DSP 6 inches by 8.5 inches, okay? And then along the long side here, which is this side up here, you're gonna score it at 1 inch, at 4 inches, so that gives me 3 inches in between, right? Another inch gives me 5, and then 3 inches gives me 8. This extra half right here is gonna help glue our bag together. And then along the short side right here, I scored it at 1 inch, okay? Now, it's really hard for you to see my score lines on this gingham paper, so you're gonna have to just trust me. This edge here is the 1/2 inch side. So I'm just gonna cut out this little square that's right here, and then I always cut my flaps at a little diagonal right there. So when I'm done with cutting this, I will put it up here and you can see it. I will also post my template on my Facebook page here when I'm done. I don't think it'll let me post it in the comments. You know, Facebook has weird rules. So then I'm going up this bottom edge everywhere that it's scored up 1 inch here, and I'm cutting on those score lines and then cutting a little bit of that width out of there, okay, just up to the score line. And then here we go. I'm going to do it right here as well. Okay, there we go. So here's my box. Here is that little 1/2 inch flap. Here's one of my 3 inch panels, one of my 1 inch panels, another 3 inch wide panel, and another 1 inch wide panel, okay? Now I'm gonna put adhesive right along this edge right here. Now you can use tear and tape, or you can use a strong adhesive like Stampin' Seal Plus, which, you know, I just had right here. Here it is. I threw it in this box. So I'm going to put adhesive right along that flap right there. And then I'm going to flip the whole thing over. I'm going to push that flap to the inside, and then I'm going to fold the box over on top of that flap, right like that. Ah, I forgot to do something. Here, let me get this taken off. Darn it, Judy. Getting too excited about making the box, and I forgot about cutting something out of it here. So we're going to have to fix this. You know, maybe I should just, okay, it's going to be okay. Okay, what I need to do before I do that, this is the key component, is I'm taking my pumpkin from the Hello Pumpkins, and I'm going to cut a pumpkin out right here from this DSP, right in the center of one of my 3-inch panels, okay? Now, when you see my template, this will all make sense. It's a little harder to see on the gingham paper. So I'm going to set this in here. I'm going to put my pumpkin right in the middle of one of those panels and run it through. And that is going to cut that pumpkin out of that panel. This is really an important part. I can't believe I almost forgot to do that. I'm glad I caught myself. Okay, so before you, look, it's going to glue to this. We'll fix it. Don't worry. We're just pretending like that didn't happen. We're living in La La Land here. Okay, so I cut that little pumpkin out of there, and before I glue it together, I have a piece of acetate, and I'm going to make a little window with that pumpkin right there, okay? So in order to make this window, I'm just going to take this piece of acetate and put a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus on each corner, and then I'm going to lay it right over that pumpkin, and I cut this 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, okay? I'm just going to cover the hole where that pumpkin is right there, and that's going to create a little pumpkin window, okay? Now, let's do this over again. Bear with me here. Okay. Hopefully I haven't lost you. Okay, are you still with me? All right. That's the whole point of the whole bag. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this over like that and make my bag. Okay. And then look. See, that's going to create a little bag with that pumpkin window in it. All right? Okay. So I'm going to pinch in the top here to kind of create a box top. Along the bottom, this is my front flap. So I'm putting adhesive on my front flap on the inside, okay? I kind of went off the edge a little bit there. It's okay, it's all okay. All right, so I'm gonna fold in my side flaps, and then the back flap, and then the front flap, like that, to create my box, okay? There we go, there's my box. Now, look how cute this is. When we drop this little Reese's snack cake, yummy, yum, yum. I can't believe Jim Tuttle hasn't eaten that already. See how cute it is when it shows through that window? Isn't that fun? All right, so here we go. I need to grab my Stamp-A-Majig, Crop-A-Majig, what's it called? Crop-A-Dial from my table over here. And this is a piece of pumpkin pie that's cut 3 inches by 3 inches, and then I scored it right down the middle at 1.5 inches. I know, isn't this cute? I so love this. I'm very proud of myself with this one. Okay, and so on 1/2 of this pumpkin pie 3 inch by 3 inch panel that is scored at 1.5 inches, right? I am going to adhere the back side of this to the back side of my bag. And I'm just gonna line it up right there on that score line. Press it down really good. And then this is gonna flap over, okay? Then I'm gonna take my hole punch or crocodile or whatever you have to punch holes, and I'm gonna put 2 holes all the way through the topper and the bag itself, okay? Make sure you put your treat in first. We found out the other night that if you don't put your treat in first, then you have to untie it and everything else. Okay, so we're gonna take our gingham ribbon and feed it through our holes here. Isn't it fun how this gingham ribbon matches the paper? It's almost like they thought of that, right? Okay, so I'm pulling my gingham ribbon through the holes, all the way through the bag and the holes, and then I'm gonna tie this in a bow right here. And don't worry, I will post this on the Tuttle Up page, the measurements in the template, so that, and hopefully you'll do a much better job of it than I just did. Okay, so there's my bow at the top. Isn't that cute? You guys, think about this. You could make this for Christmas, for birthdays, just a cute little gift box, right? But oh, we're not done yet. We are going to cut out a label of pumpkin pie using our stylish shapes right here. I used that little banner right there. And this time I'm going to use a saying from the Harvest Hello that coordinates with this little pumpkin die here. And this says, what does it say? You are such a blessing. You are such a blessing. Do you have people in your life that you believe are such a blessing to your life? I can name about 20 that are watching me right now. So I'm going to stamp that on this label. There we go. And I'm going to add adhesive, but just to the very top edge of this banner right here. And I'm just going to add the top half of that banner to that pumpkin pie topper, and it's not going to stick, see, since I only put adhesive on the top bit. You are such a blessing. How fun would it be to make a bunch of these and give them to your co-workers or friends at Halloween? That would be great for a teacher gift, right? Isn't that so fun? Now this one I used a trick or treat sentiment from the Scary Cute stamp set. This is one we did the other night. It says trick or treat, you're so sweet. How fun are those? So, what do you guys think? Do you like my little box? I'm glad you like it. I will promise you that I will post the template to that on this page a little bit later tonight, and I want to bring in my other 2 cards here that I made tonight so that you can see them all real quick. Take a picture there if you want to, and thanks. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. All right, so remember, you can get this class to go by going to TuttleUpShop.com, and let me move this down a little bit more. TuttleUpShop.com, use hostess code SBXS6UMW, and I'd be happy to put together a little kit for you so that you can make this all on your own, okay? I'm gonna turn my camera up and sideways, and again, man, you guys, you're such a blessing to my life. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I'm so glad you're with me. I will be back next Monday night at the same time, 7 p.m., and hopefully I want to share with you some of the cards that we're making this weekend using the Apple Blossoms Bundle and the Happy Harvest Hello Harvest Bundles for my retreat on Saturday. I can't wait to share some of those with you. So God bless. We'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye.